Thank you. Okay, so no need to introduce me. And one thing is not in our mind. Everybody wants to be happy, and happiness is a state of our mind. Actually, it should be the natural state of our mind, because we were born like that as happy people. But for most people, it is not so. So the question is, how can we still our mind to achieve inner peace and harmony so that we ultimately can become united with our true nature, which means self-actualization? And what is it which prevents us from having this inner peace, from being happy all the time? Recent studies have shown that air pollution affects people's intelligence. But first it affects our well-being, our minds. Then it will be more difficult to find inner peace and happiness. And how come that pollution, especially pollution of the atmosphere, has such a profound effect on our mind and puts so much pressure on our mind? The reason is, as humans, we are all connected. When somebody suffers and at one side of the planet, because of war, famine, whatever, all of us affected. And same if animal kingdom and plant kingdom is affected. What connects us all is the atmosphere. We are all connected through the atmosphere. And if the atmosphere is polluted, then all of us get the effect. Of course, also if soil and water are polluted. And the worst form of pollution is thought pollution. And so is there anything we can do to reduce this pollution, the atmospheric pollution, thought pollution? And that, again, will be Agnihotra. Long-time meditators have told me that when they sit in Agnihotra atmosphere, meditation, they come into a state of meditation within short time. Normally, it takes them maybe 20, 30 minutes. With Agnihotra, it nearly happens immediately. We do not have to talk much about air pollution, water pollution. Prana, the life energy which pulsates through the cosmos, cannot flow harmoniously in an environment so much polluted. And thought pollution is the worst part. All our thoughts and emotions leave some imprint in our atmosphere. You know, if you look at the room, you see the chairs, you see people, you see the technical equipment, but you do not see the thoughts. But that does not mean they are not here. They are there like invisible objects, and they have an effect. If you go to a room where people have meditated for 30 minutes, they have gone out, you don't even know it, you come to the room, you feel quiet, you feel somehow relaxed. If, on the other hand, in the same room, people have had a big fight, also people have left, you come to the room, you feel somehow uncomfortable. The effect is there. Although you don't see the conflict in the air, but it's there. You know, some objects are there which we do not see with our eyes. So negative thoughts and emotions like anger, greed, violence, which are prevalent nowadays, they influence everybody whether we are aware of them or not. And thought energy also has an effect on plants. And there it is easy to demonstrate. You know, an experiment done at Pantnagar University showed that if you put the seeds of plants in a room where they meditate regularly, the seeds, the germination rate is higher. Another experiment done in US long time back was that there were students, you had two groups of students, and you had gave a set of seats to every student, and you asked half of the students, you asked, okay, concentrate all your anger to the seats. This is I did. And the other group of students would ask, okay, you know, all your love and blessing to the seats. And what happened, there was a big, and then they had a third group of plants without influence, just neutral, yeah, for control. What happened was the plants which were positively influenced grew faster. Those which were negatively influenced grew slower. And actually, the little bit disturbing fact is that the positively positively influenced plants grow a little bit better. The negatively influenced plants grow quite a bit worse. So that means it seems to be easier for people to concentrate on negative thoughts than it is to concentrate on positive thoughts. But okay, we know that our thoughts have an influence on plants, so we know, yes, these are existing great powers. And methods like yoga and meditation help to reduce the effects of thought pollution. But what if we could deal with the root cause of the problem, that is with our polluted environment, which interferes with the flow of prana? And that is exactly what we do with Agnihotra. With Agnihotra, we influence the atmosphere in a positive way. What is Agnihotra? It is the smallest basic yajna which you do at the time of sunrise and sunset. And you have this copper pyramid of fixed size and shape, pure cow dung, pure cow ghee, some rice, some mantras. And at the time of sunrise, you have all these energies coming from the sun, and with the mantras, you have a resonance effect. Therefore, it is so strong. The mantras I did yesterday, and it works on all the different areas: environment, plants, human health. And I skipped that. One thing is interesting. Yesterday I've shown that Agnihotra reduces the bacteria in the air. Now, one more thing is Agnihotra also reduces the virulence of bacteria. So not just the number of bacteria, but also the virulence of bacteria. That has been done in an experiment in Pune. Okay, the details are not so important, but three parameters for virulence of bacteria: capsule formation, hemolytic activity, pigment formation. All these three aspects were reduced when you put it in Agnihotra ash. Here are the slides if you want to see. And one more thing about bacteria, that is quite important, because nowadays we know that in all hospitals we have the big problem of multi-drug resistant bacteria. It's a big problem in all the hospitals worldwide, and it is not getting better. So what we have done is, in one experiment in Kathmandu, the University of Kathmandu, we added Agnihotra ash to a strain of multi-drug resistant bacteria, E. coli bacteria, and we saw that when you added Agnihotra ash, you know, the growth of these bacteria was reduced as compared to control. And that is a very interesting result. And actually we want to do more in this direction, because it's such a big problem. And also we want to find a hospital where we can actually perform these experiments in the hospital itself. One other project is with HIV-positive children. This project was done in Mysore, Karnataka. We had approximately 30 children with HIV-positive AIDS. And these children were asked to perform Agnihotra. So each of the children was performing Agnihotra. And after half a year, or even less than that, the doctor who was treating these children said, the general health of these children has become much, much better. Normally he had to go to this center quite often, once, twice a week, because he got an urgent call, some problem. That did not happen anymore. So the general health of the children was much better. But then also the viral load came down. So that was a very promising result. And actually we wanted to do more research, but then somehow the funding did not happen for some political reasons, whatever. I mean, the party in Karnataka who was in power lost. So the politicians were no longer in power to do that. But if possible, we want to continue that research. Yesterday I mentioned about water, and here you see water on a subtle level. You know, water has some subtle energies also. And left side you see, the pointer is not very strong. Left side you see water from a tap in Tokyo. And what they did is they take a drop of water, put it in a cold chamber, and immediately it freezes. And left side you see what happens. Doesn't look very good. And then they add Agnihotra ash, and then you see the crystal formation. A beautiful crystal happens when you add Agnihotra ash. So on a subtle level, these are more water crystals with Agnihotra ash. Beautiful structure, beautiful crystals come when you add Agnihotra ash. Here you see nice crystal formation. So that shows on a subtle level, on a more subtle level, water quality is much improved. And when we drink that water, then of course it helps our health, because we are formed, maybe 75% approximately of our body is just water. And if this water carries subtle positive energy, then definitely that will help our health. So we have a lot of examples regarding human health. Asthma is cured, and that is a little bit interesting, because normally people with asthma, they cannot stand any smoke. But if the smoke of Agnihotra atmosphere, it does not affect them. Even they say it's soothing. I had this example with an uncle. I invited him for Agnihotra, and he said, "No, is there smoke?" I said, "Yes." He said, "No, I can't come." I said, "Okay, just try it. You come whenever you feel a little bit uncomfortable. Just leave the room." He stayed there all the time, and in the end, he said he can't understand it. He doesn't believe it, but he felt good. And actually, many people have been healed from their asthma with Agnihotra. So the smoke is a little bit different. Blood pressure. This was a simple test somebody did. The blood pressure was measured before Agnihotra and then 30 minutes after Agnihotra. And what they found out is when the blood, in case where the blood pressure was too high, it came down. When it was too low, it came up. So Agnihotra regulates the blood pressure. And that is an important finding, because blood pressure, many people nowadays suffer from mostly high blood pressure. And these people normally have to take medication for the rest of their lives. And if with this simple method they can reduce the blood pressure, that will be a very, very good help for them. And the medications which they normally take, they take it for the rest of their life. They have side effects. So you take medication against high blood pressure, then you need another pill against the damage it does to your stomach, to your kidneys, and so on. So it's a good business for pharmaceutical industry, but it's not really healing these people. One very important thing is Bhopal. This gas tragedy in Bhopal, where thousands and thousands of people died, there were some families where they performed Agnihotra and nothing happened to them, nothing. So that showed even if there is a big contamination of a very poisonous gas with Agnihotra, it can be neutralized. That was big news at that time in Indian national newspapers. Now let's come to the mind. I mentioned yesterday there is a direct linkage between prana and the mind. Prana and mind are like the two sides of the same coin. If you influence prana, immediately your mind gets influenced. If your mind influences your mind, prana gets influenced. We hear from Jesus. Jesus said, be full of love all the time. Definitely that is a good suggestion. So if you could do that, then immediately the atmosphere around would be changed. This you see in situations where you have a holy person, you come to the room, you feel better. You know, the atmosphere has changed. But even if you want, it's not so easy. You can't just decide, okay, now I'm full of love, and you are full of love. It is not so easy. Therefore, we need some help. And the help is if we can purify our atmosphere by performing Agnihotra, then I only have 15 minutes, but okay. Then if you perform Agnihotra, then immediately you have the effect on the atmosphere, prana flows, your mind is more happy. And we had done several experiments. Oh yeah, this was an experiment done in Santiago de Chile, and they found out that anxiety and stress are relieved. Stress was measured by measuring the cortisol level in the saliva, means it's an objective test. And what they did is they had two groups, very stressed people, and both were invited for Tai Chi, and for one group, somebody did Agnihotra in next room. So the people did not know that something has happened. They just did Tai Chi. Both groups, Tai Chi with Agnihotra, without Agnihotra, stress level got down. But the group where Agnihotra was done in next room, it went down more, significantly. So that was a very good result because it was blind. These people did not know. Here you have the data. Another study was done in Baltimore recently. It has been published also. And you see Agnihotra group, the depression was much, much, much reduced compared to control. With Kirlian photography, you can also see before and after, you see the change. And that was an interesting experiment, and that is the last thing which I want to show. That is with EEG. You do EEG before Agnihotra, this is before. So the most of the brain waves are in the beta range. Beta range means activity, means also stress. Alpha is relatively less. Now after Agnihotra, you see the increase of alpha and the reduction in beta. That is a big, big, big change. So you see, with this simple little Agnihotra, you can have a very great effect. and I conclude within 20 minutes. The last thing I want to say, today I will perform Agnihotra again. If the organizers permit, then I could do it here, otherwise outside. Everybody is invited, and I will, sunset is today at 5 o'clock, 34 minutes and some seconds. So please be there, say 5 or 10 minutes before 5. Before 5:30 means 5:25. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Work. Dr. Work. Dr. Work, please. Dr. Aldrich Work, I want to, sir, I want to clarify something. I want to say something that I don't understand how meditation affects on germination. One thing. Just please see. The second thing, I have worked for on MIC. I went there, collect samples, and I have studied cytogenetical effects, morphological effects in this. If you can search on Google, Dr. D.S. Tripathi, MIC, you will get some papers there. How Agnihotra protect from that MIC? I don't understand, because gas was released in midnight of December. That time was cold, winter. And this MIC gas is heavier than air. It comes down on Earth's surface and affects the all human beings and animals and plants. So, but I don't understand how Agnihotra protect them on that day. Yes, but in brief.
First question, how does Agnihotra affect the seed germination, the growth of plants? Okay, if we do not take into account the power of thought, these more subtle energies, then we will not be able to understand. Because on the physical level, on the level of molecules, atoms, and so on, the other, nothing changes. Yeah, it is on a more subtle level. So it would be good to do more experiments in this direction, but the effect was clearly shown. Meditation helps, and then in the same way also Agnihotra helps, because it reduces thought pollution. It reduces pollution on a more subtle level. Even, you know, more simple experiments, plants, if you show, if you play heavy metal music, germination will go down. If you play, for example, classical Indian music, it will go up. It is on the same level. Okay, the second thing, Bhopal, see, I would be really grateful to you if you could show me your results, and we can maybe afterwards discuss, because years ago I thought, because the problem is still there. The soil is still polluted, water is polluted, people live there, they drink water from the well, the government puts a sign, please do not drink this water. Okay, but what shall they do? Once in a week a tanker comes. So it's a big problem, and many diseases there in this area. So I wanted to do a project there, but from the political level, not so much support. They want to suppress the news and the truth. So if you can show, I would really be happy to do a project there. Maybe take soil, perform Agnihotra, and see how the chemical composition changes, how these harmful chemicals are degraded. I would be very happy to do that. What we just know, at that time, it was a big help for thousands and thousands of people. But I would really be interested to work on